put your questions in the chat. If you can just preface it with a Q, that would be really handy. And then Michelle will be reading those out at the end of today's webinar. So welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us. This is indeed Networking and Navigating Career Day 2024. Before we do get started, I would like to do a territorial acknowledgement. We at Kwantlen Polytechnic University respectfully acknowledge that we live, work, and study in a region that overlaps with the unceded and traditional and ancestral First Nations territories of the Musqueam, Katzie, Semiahmoo, Tsawwassen, Kikite, and Coquitlam, and with the lands of the Kwantlen First Nation, which gifted its name to this university. In the cause of reconciliation, we recognize our commitment to address and reduce ongoing systemic colonialism, oppression, and racism that Indigenous peoples continue to experience. Today's webinar and all the others in this series is brought to you by the Career Development Center, your Career Development Center. And Career Development Center is made up of career services, volunteer services, cooperative education, and employer relations. And for more information, you can just visit us online here. And please do follow us on our various social media channels as well. Okay, I want some thumbs up here. So here are some of the events that we have leading up to Career Day. And give me a thumbs up if you attended the employer panel, which we held on Monday. Give me a thumbs up if you came.
Yeah, we're getting some thumbs up there.
Good, good. Okay, I guess they don't pop up on my screen, which is too bad. But happy to hear that that we had some people attend the employer panel. Excellent. What about Tuesday's resume and cover letter webinar hosted by the great Michelle Matthijssen? Thumbs up?
Yes, yes, there we go. And hands up, thumbs up. Feel like
Excellent.
I'm playing 7-Up.
And then yesterday, of course, we had, I thought, a fabulous session, demystifying careers in the federal public service. Hopefully, I'm pretty sure we got some thumbs up for that one as well.
Yes,
You
yeah,
attended?
here they come. Yep.
Okay,
Excellent.
and then of course today, networking and navigating. I'm happy that you're all here. And then Monday next week, just before Career Day, we have Career Insights with the BC Public Service. Of course, Career Day on the Richmond campus on Tuesday from 10 till 2, and then on the Surrey campus from 10 till 2 on Wednesday. That'll be followed by, oh, I noticed that it's not on Friday. It's not on Friday. It's Thursday, March 14th for interview tips for a successful job search. So that's the day after the Surrey Career Day. And then this all leads to the exciting day, which is the prize draw on Friday, March 15th. Okay, so this is what we're going to cover. I kind of broke this up into two parts. The first part is networking, and the second part is all about kind of navigating through Career Day and just making sure that you're being strategic when you go. It's good for Career Day 2024, but these tips apply across the board to any career fair. So I'm sure you'll find them handy. All right, so we're going to start off with pretty simple stuff. How do I network? Including setting SMART goals in order to help you kind of organize yourself during that networking process. Then we're going to hop over to navigating. So that's 7 steps to a successful career day. And then we're going to open it up to you for some Q&A. Now, here's the question that I have for you all. It doesn't have to do with networking, but I think that it's still a really important question. And my question is, if money wasn't an object, what job or career would you choose? Money's no object. You don't have any kind of family pressures or societal pressures to do any particular kind of job or career. Write it in the chat. What kind of job would you do if there were no other pressures on you to do anything you want?
Well, I started it off with a travel blogger.
Oh, yeah. I'd be a food. You know what I would do? I would be a food and travel writer.
Nice, nice. Musical theater is coming up. Some career in painting or sketching. Yes.
Nice.
These are excellent.
It's funny,
Cook.
they're all kind of on the artsy side.
Right? Forest Ranger.
Oh,
Definitely. Nora,
I
yes,
love that one.
definitely. I'm coming to your forest, Nora. Writer, musician. Oh, beautiful. Maybe we can get the
Arts.
musician in the forest playing for the animals. Journalist. Yes.
Yeah. Well, these are fun.
A movie director. What kind of movies? Cave adventurer. Oh, wonderful.
I love these.
Land caves, underwater caves. I mean, there's so much depth here. Yes, chef and
Literally.
food blogger.
Literally. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Somebody Feed Phil. There's new episodes of Somebody Feed Phil. Animator. Yes.
These are fun. These are fun, and I would have to say they're all very realistic, so I don't really know why. Come on. Right?
Right? Video producer. Okay.
Fun.
Back over to you.
All right, perfect. Well, that was kind of fun. I was just interested, and it's, and the other thing that I want you to think about too, when you came up with that dream job that you have, if there were no other objects in your way, identify for yourself, well, what are some characteristics about those jobs that are appealing to you? And it's very likely you can transfer those maybe into a different career. But anyways, okay, let's get down to the nitty gritty. How do I network? Well, these 5 steps will help you to kind of organize yourself in expanding your own network. So the first thing you're going to want to do, of course, is develop a goal and have a plan. From there, you're going to want to identify who is in your network, who's not in your network. So where are those gaps that you need to fill, because that then will give you some tangibles to add to that plan. Of course, use your current connections. The fact that you're at KPU, or perhaps if you've graduated, you were at KPU, you had a plethora of people that are now in your network. We'll talk about ways that you can expand your network, and then, of course, the all-important keeping your network. So those are the 5 steps. So let's start with the first one, developing a goal and having a plan. So your goal, I'm pretty sure you're here for, this is your plan. This is probably everybody's plan, right? Is to increase my network and get a job. That makes a lot of sense, but there's a lot that we need to kind of unfold in this particular goal rather. And so in order to help us turn that plan into a realistic action plan, we need to maybe consider using the SMART approach to developing your goal. So when you're developing your goal, and I'm sure you're all familiar with this SMART acronym, you're developing a goal, make sure your goal is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. So let's now change this goal into a SMART goal. I will go to at least one event per month and reach out. Then I got to move my little window here. There we go. Reach out to one person a week for the next 6 months to expand my, and I just put accounting in here, but of course you're going to customize it to yourself, to expand my accounting network and build relationships in the sustainability industry. So if we look at this SMART goal, we can identify each of the letters within this acronym. It's quite specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, and it's relevant to what your goal is here, right? And it's time bound, right? So you're really holding yourself accountable, but you are also giving yourself a really great place to start. Okay, so once you have a SMART goal, the next step is to identify who is in your network so that you can then identify where are the gaps, who is it that you would like to know, and how can you get to know those people, right? So identify who's in your network and where the gaps are. So first start off by thinking, well, who is it that you know? Of course, instructors, peers, family, friends, previous coworkers, managers, all those hobbies, interests that you have, you meet people through there as well. So those are all people that are part of your network. They're either very close to you or you just know them through people. Next up is get a list of your targeted companies. So put a list of those companies that you're interested in targeting. Identify those. Put that down on paper, and then ask yourself whether or not you know anyone who's actually working in those companies. A great place to identify that would be maybe through LinkedIn, right? So if you don't have a LinkedIn, we don't talk about LinkedIn so much in this particular workshop, just because I'm splitting it up into 2 sections. But if you don't have a LinkedIn account, I highly recommend that you get started with that process now. So you can use LinkedIn to identify people that work at those companies. And then, of course, LinkedIn is also great for researching people of interest, right? So if there's particular people that are working in a certain industry that you are interested in, or interested in researching at least, this will help you. This will help you to identify where those gaps are, and then you can determine next steps for how you can reach out to those particular people. Next up, use your current connections. So once you've identified from the previous screen, you've identified, okay, I have some gaps. I'm interested in, learning about certain companies. I don't know people that work at those companies, or I'm interested in working in certain industries. I don't know people that work, right, and work in those industries. Use your network. Ask people. Everyone that you meet and come across should know what your career goals are. And if right now you're in research mode, where you're trying to identify what types of companies you'd like to work in, or what industry or sector you would be interested in working in, ask people, have those kinds of conversations. So go to the office hours with your instructor. Talk to your peers, your fellow students or fellow alumni of KPU. Make appointments with career coaches. Talk to people. Everybody that's around you should know what your career goals are. And again, if you're in research mode, they should know that as well. Use social media. So not even just LinkedIn, but using other social media platforms. You could put a question out. Hey there, I'm interested in learning a little bit more about sustainability, or about clean tech, or about health, the health field. Does anyone have anyone that I can chat with? I'm currently a health sciences student, or whatever it might be. So shout it out, right? Again, everyone that you know and meet should know what your career goals are. Next up, expand your network. Expand your network. Now, this in many cases can be a bit of a challenge for people. Fair enough. So the previous few slides, we spoke about identifying who's in your network and who's not in your network. So where are those gaps that you need to fill? Once you can identify where those gaps are, you can then make a plan to fill those gaps. How do you fill those gaps? Well, it's through experiences, it's through conversations, and it's through kind of expanding your comfort zone. So the first thing is experiences. Volunteering on and off campus, great way to expand that network. Of course, it also feels good to give back, looks good on a resume, helps you develop those skills, helps you use those skills. But at the same time, you're also expanding your network that way. Joining associations are an excellent way to expand your network. But don't just join the association. Look at ways that you can get involved in the association, because I do find that if I was to suggest to a student, hey, why don't you get out there and network? Why don't you go to some of these events and start chatting with people? That's really intimidating for a lot of people. Whether you have a preference for extroversion or introversion, it can be really intimidating. So sometimes it might help if you actually partner with the association itself. For example, say they have an event that's coming up. See if you can volunteer at that event. That kind of takes the pressure off you to just go and start up a conversation with people. But when you're there kind of representing the association, it's a lot easier to go and strike up a conversation with people. So join an association, but don't just be a rock, right? Just kind of sitting there. go and experience it. Go to the events, make sure to sign up for the newsletter, see what kind of opportunities they have that you can get involved in. Lineups. I put this here kind of as a joke, but not really, because networking happens anywhere. And it's really up to you to grab that opportunity. And so you might be standing in a lineup, as we often do, whether it's to get into that restaurant we want to go to. The Tim Hortons lineup in Richmond is always really, really long. So great opportunities to have a chit chat there. But lineups in the bank or wherever, and strike up a conversation. You can maybe start it off by saying, hey, it's such a nice day. I've been really looking forward to this sunshine, and just kind of strike up a conversation. Stranger things have happened. Everyone that's around you can potentially be part of your network. So you never know who's standing behind you or in front of you in that lineup. Of course, get a job. Get that part-time job. It doesn't have to be something that is directly related to what it is you're studying. In fact, it's probably a good idea not to. You want to have well-rounded experience and meet people from all different types of backgrounds. So getting that part-time job while you're studying is an excellent, excellent way to expand your network. You just do not know who your coworkers are and who your coworkers know. So you just don't know. Expand your comfort zone. Notice I didn't say jump outside of your comfort zone, because the goal here is not for you to be uncomfortable all the time, but rather to make it a comfortable experience for you. So expand your comfort zone. These things just take practice, right? Practice, practice, practice. And like I said, there are ways that you can do it so it's not so intimidating. You join the association, then volunteer at it so that you can meet other members, and you're kind of representing the association, so it takes some of that pressure off. So expand that comfort zone. Have conversations and information meetings. So next up, we're going to chat a little bit about information meetings. All right. The 5 W's of information meeting. So what is an information meeting? I'm sure many of you already know this, but basically it's an informal, kind of casual meeting. And it should be pretty brief, 15 to 20 minutes. And it's with someone who's maybe working in a particular job that you're interested in, or working at a particular company or in a certain industry, whatever it might be. The goal is for you to build relationships, right? Expand that network, research potential careers, companies, industries, whatever it might be. But it will also help you to clarify what it is you want and where it is you want to do it. When I first started in the career development field, it was a while ago. I won't tell you when, but it was a while ago. And at the time, I was a new graduate. I knew that I wanted to get into this field and become what we used to call employment counselor. So I wanted to be an employment counselor, and I just didn't know kind of where I wanted to do that, because there were lots of places you could work as an employment counselor. And so really what my research was around is determining what kind of employer I wanted to work with, who paid well, who had a good reputation, who offered a nice working experience. So that was kind of where my research was focused when I was doing my information meetings. But I also had student loans to pay, and I was also looking for a job. So I was in a space where I was kind of willing to take any job in employment counseling, and it really didn't matter where. And so I went around and I was doing my information meetings, and I went to this one place, and it was actually, it's not around anymore, but it was an employment program for people who had been newly released from provincial institutions. So ex inmates, basically. So a pretty heavy employment program for a first-time employment counselor. So I went into this information meeting with the manager. The manager was extremely casual, ripped jeans, baseball hat, very relaxed, kind of just sitting back. And I was very properly dressed, and I was very formal. I was trying to really get them to want to hire me. That was my goal. I wasn't really paying attention to the environment. At the end of our meeting, and at the time I was volunteering somewhere else, And at the end of our meeting, the manager looked at me and said, "Where did you say you're volunteering again?" And I told him where I was volunteering. And he looked at me with his pen in his hand and he said, "You should stay there. You should stay there." And at the time I was so shocked that he would say that to me, but it was very clear. He was telling me, this isn't the environment for you. You need to kind of reassess what you're doing here. And that really was an eye opener for me because I wasn't using information meetings in the proper way. I was clearly just trying to get a job out of it when really I should have only been using it as a research tool. Because if I was using it as a research tool, I would have been able to identify for myself right away that this was not a fit for me at that time. So industry insight can help you to confirm or adjust your target, right? So doing these information meetings is a fabulous way to uncover that for yourself. All right. So when you do these information meetings, just like I did when I went to that particular workplace, it helped me to identify not the right match, right? So preferably you want to do it in the place of work, like in, where the actual job itself takes place. Who? Well, you want to have these information meetings with people who are doing jobs that you're interested in doing or learning more about, potential mentors, maybe relatives, professional associations. It's an endless list. Conduct these information meetings with people that you wouldn't necessarily think of having those meetings with because you just don't know what can come out of them, right? When? Well, it's used for career exploration. It's used to identify where it is you want to apply when you're ready to apply. And of course, it can even help you when choosing your major. Okay, so when you're requesting an information meeting, you want to introduce yourself. You want to make it very clear to the person that you're requesting this meeting with why you're interested in meeting with them. And it should be relatively quick, right? Make it very clear to them relatively quickly. Let's say it's in an email, you're sending them an email that includes about a 30-second intro of your background, goals, and call to action, right? So the request should include your name, maybe the area that you're studying or that you have studied, where you've worked or where you're currently working, if it's relevant, right? If it's relevant to the information meeting that you're trying to book, your career specialty, interest, or area of focus, perhaps a value that you can bring to any employer, and a call to action. So here's one, that kind of contains all of that. Hi there, my name is Anna. I'm a fourth-year accounting student at KPU and a member of the Kwantlen Student Association Sustainability Committee. I'm exploring ways to combine these interests by researching accounting careers in the clean tech industry. I noticed your extensive experience on LinkedIn and would like to ask you a few questions about this industry and your career path. Could we schedule a brief meeting of about 15 to 20 minutes so that I can ask you a few questions about your career path? Very clear. You're not asking for a job. You're asking for a meeting. You're indicating how long you would expect to have this meeting for, and you're making it very clear what it is you're actually looking for. Now, whenever I suggest to students or alumni that they do these information meetings, I can see their body language shift and they get a little bit nervous. And I absolutely get that because you will be hearing no if you hear anything at all, right? Sometimes they might just completely ignore your request. But yeah, you're going to hear no's for sure. You're going to hear some no's, but you're also going to hear some yeses. And it's the yeses that we want to focus on, right? So I want you to ask yourself when you're thinking about doing that, when you're expanding your comfort zone, when you're being brave, I want you to ask yourself, what's the worst thing that will happen if I send an email to this particular person to ask them for an information meeting, or if I send them a LinkedIn message, or if I pick up the phone rather, and call them? What's the worst thing that will happen? And then answer the question. Well, the worst thing that can happen, like go through the scenarios. Well, they're going to say no, they might not answer me, whatever. But then also remind yourself that there's a yes there. There's always a yes, right? Okay, so next up in our list of ways to network is to keep your network. So once you have maybe reached out to these people, you've had information meetings with them, or you've reconnected with old instructors or old classmates, keep people informed. Keep people informed of what it is you're doing. If you had a really great information session or you've attended a great webinar that gave you, a, a new direction, like a new interest in a certain areas, post about it, tell people about it. If the people that you had an information meeting with suggested that you do A, B, and C, and then you went and did A, B, and C, tell them about it. Let them know, hey, you recommended I do A, B, and C. I did, and this was really interesting because this is what happened. Or if they recommended that you go and chat with someone else, let them know that you've gone and chatted with them, right? So keep them posted of what's been going on. Post often. So for those of you that will be starting a LinkedIn account rather, and for those of you that do have a LinkedIn account, post often. If you're in school right now, you are obtaining brand new, really interesting information. So post about it. Talk about something you learned in class, right? And share that with the rest of your followers. Participate and keep it up. So again, going to those associations, going to any kind of events that are related to your industry, volunteer wherever you can, and then give back. By that, I mean, if in your own research you've uncovered people that you think ought to know each other, introduce them to each other, do an e-intro, write a comment on people's post, share their post, write a recommendation on LinkedIn, give back. Typically speaking, when it comes to online networking, I always say for every time you take, give back 3 times. Anybody else have any other ideas? Feel free to write them in the chat. Share them with your fellow peers. Some other ways that you can keep your network. All right, so key takeaways before we hop over to navigating. Have a plan, set a goal using the SMART acronym. Be brave, expand that comfort zone, ask yourself, okay, Chantel said it, what's the worst thing that can happen if I pick up the phone or if I send this message? Maybe don't ask yourself that question if you're going skydiving, but if you're networking, it's a fair question to ask. Experience things, put yourself out there. Get the part-time job, volunteer, reach out for the information meetings, and ask. Until you do, the answer will always be no. Okay, always. Give back where you can. Give back wherever you can. All right, so again, just a prompt. If you do have any questions about the networking piece of today's webinar, please do put the questions in the chat and preface it with a Q. We'll get to those at the end. All right, putting it into practice. So navigating Career Day 2024. All right, so before the big day, be aware and prepare. And by that, I mean, know yourself. Know yourself. So what is it that you're actually looking for? When you go to Career Day or any other hiring fair, really, what is it that you want? What kind of job are you looking for? Or are you looking for a job? Maybe you're just there to obtain information, which is really great, right? But if you're looking for a job, are you looking for a flexible schedule at a certain location? What kind of skills would you like to use, or what kind of skills would you like to gain? So know yourself before the actual big day. Identify who's going and what kind of roles they're hiring for. And I put the QR code there. This will lead you directly to the employer list on Career Connection. So if you go onto their company website, and of course you look on the career section, it'll give you an idea for what they're hiring for. But if you don't necessarily see any careers that are posted there, research the company. This will help you to identify what kind of roles they might be hiring for in the future. And this will help you to have a really great conversation with the HR person or the recruiter or whoever is going to represent that company on Career Day. Number 3, Prepare and practice your intro pitch. So we kind of went over one before with a bit of a pitch to give to someone if you're going to be requesting an information meeting. So it's kind of similar. Pitches are malleable. You can change them depending on who your audience is and what your intention is. So at a busy career day, it would be really difficult maybe to really give them a full 30-second pitch. You want to make this pretty quick. So I say keep it to about 15 seconds. So when you approach an employer at their table, make sure it has these components. And for the most part, you want to stick to about 15 seconds. So that should include a greeting and your name, a particular position that you're interested in, that you know that this company hires for or is hiring for, a brief summary of relevant experience or skills, and then a question. And this is what that would look like. So you approach them at the table. Hi, I'm Chantal. It's great to meet you. I understand that Bayshore Healthcare is hiring non-nurse case managers. As a soon-to-be health sciences graduate with experience in pharmacy, I think this sounds like a great fit. What's the best way to get more information and apply? So really targeted, it tells them early on that you're interested in them because you did your homework. And you're also letting them know that you're a solid candidate, right? You have relevant background and you're letting them know that in about 15 seconds. This will open it up for a great conversation. I'm going to leave this here for a second. Okay. This can be really frustrating for employers. One thing to think about is they've taken time out of their day to come and hang out on campus to meet you, right? They want to meet you. That's why they're here from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m., probably from 9 a.m. actually till about 2:30 p.m. And so to approach these companies and not have a clue what they do can be really frustrating for them. And it's a really great way to not stand out, right? So try to avoid walking up to a table going, oh, okay, well, so what do you guys do? What kind of jobs do you have? Do you have anything for accounting students? Or do you have anything? Do you tend to hire sociology students or sociology grads? Do your homework ahead of time, right? So avoid this and maybe go with something more like this. Okay. So of the 7, we're on number 4. So dress comfortably, but dress nicely, right? You want to make sure that what you're wearing is clean and ironed and presentable, clean shoes that are comfortable. Make sure you want to be engaging and memorable when you're there, right? So when you communicate with them, speak clearly, not too quickly, particularly if it's loud, right? A hiring fair environment's very loud. Some people might have slight hearing issues, have a hard time hearing when there's a lot of noise going around. If you have a particularly strong accent, consider that as well. So speak clearly and not too quickly. I know this can be tough if this is an employer that you're really interested in and you might be a little bit nervous, but I do encourage you to speak clearly and not too quickly. So pay attention to body language. If they're squinting their eyes and leaning in, they're not hearing you well. So just pay attention to that. Remove the AirPods before you actually approach the table. That's all I have to say about that. Just remove the AirPods. Maintain eye contact, right? Don't be too creepy about it, but look them in the eye when you're talking to them. And then, of course, smile. Show that you're interested in what it is they have to say. And I hope that you are, because you're approaching their table. So one would make the assumption that you're interested in what they have to say. So this is the layout for the Richmond campus. I'll leave this here just for a few seconds. Here we have some employers and nonprofit organizations, nonprofits looking for volunteers and probably paid employees as well. So there you go, and oh, there you are, being all happy and successful at the career day. So that is Richmond. And the Surrey one, of course, has pretty much double plus 4 the employers, so quite a few there. And there you are. There you are again. Okay, so we're not quite finished. Step number 6 to navigating a career fair is revisit those employers that are particularly interesting to you. So you had great conversations, they piqued your interest. These are ambassadors to their companies, right? And so if they've done a good job of promoting their company to you, tell them that. Revisit the table, reintroduce yourself, let them know that you found it really interesting having a conversation with them. They've very much piqued your interest, perhaps, in diving further into the company. Let them know what it is you enjoyed about the interaction. Maybe it's their own enthusiasm for working at that company. And then let them know that you plan on applying, right? Let them know. After the event, and within 24 hours, hopefully for those companies that have piqued your interest, apply. And when you apply, make sure that you let them know if you do have direct contact information. Let them know that you plan on applying. It's, chances are you'll need to do it through their applicant tracking system, so through their website. It could be a direct email to them, depending. But if you do happen to have their contact information, but you need to apply through their website, send them a brief email. Let them know that you really enjoyed meeting with them and that they were a great representation for their company and that you are applying for a position, blah. And then do that. And then mention in your cover letter that you had a great conversation with whoever the recruiter was, and that they really did increase your interest in applying for that particular company. And then apply. Right? And then just go ahead and apply. But if you can, let them know. Let them know that you plan on applying because of the interaction that you had. All right, so key takeaways around navigating career fairs. Know what it is you want in a job. So understand what your needs are, right? What you're willing to perhaps let go of when it comes to your wish list. Research rather who will be there and what they're hiring for. Again, they might not necessarily have all positions listed under their careers page, but once you take a deeper dive into the company and what it is they do, maybe you've looked on LinkedIn, you'll get an idea for other roles that they could potentially be hiring for in the future, even if those roles aren't posted yet. Prepare a simple introduction pitch. At a career fair, it's pretty busy. So you want to keep it really specific and concise, about 15 seconds to introduce yourself and to let them know which roles you're particularly interested in. Stand out, show them that you've done your research, make sure to revisit them before you leave the fair. Let them know if you do plan on applying, and let them know if it was due to the great conversation you had. Don't wait too long to apply. Stick with the momentum that you're in. Right? They could still they're going to be meeting a lot of students, but they could still potentially remember you if you have a great conversation. So within 24, max 48 hours, if you plan on applying, do it within that timeline. For those of you that don't know, on Career Connection, there's a number of resources to help you out. This is the toolkit that we have on networking. So feel free to scan the QR code and that'll take you straight to the networking toolkit. We also have toolkits on resumes and cover letters and on interviews. When you get to career day, make sure to hop over to one of the registration tables so you can get this stamp card here. In order to be eligible for any of the prizes, to win any of the prizes, you need to register to attend career day on Career Connection. And you need to get one of these stamping cards. So for every 5 stamps you get one entry into the prize draw. And so each time you have a conversation with an employer, They will stamp your card for every 5. You'll get 1 entrance in. And so what can you win? Sony headphones, Stanley Cup, gift cards, and we will be doing the draw for all of these prizes on Friday, March 15th. There's also draws for the webinar. So for today, for all of you that have attended, your name will be put in a draw and you could win a gift card as well for that. Good luck. All right, and I'm going to open it up for questions now. Here we have just a few resources. A reminder that we do have a YouTube channel. So today's webinar will be uploaded to our YouTube channel, and we have quite a few other videos on there as well that you can check out. For those of you that are interested in meeting with a career coach, either myself or Michelle Matthijssen, feel free to book an appointment with us on Advisor Connect. Otherwise, send us an email, give us a phone call, and we'll be happy to chat. So I am going to stop sharing my screen, which I already have, and I'm going to see if there are any questions.
We do have a few questions. Thank you so much. Our first question is, do employers often accept printed resumes on the spot, or generally they redirect to an email online application?
Yeah, I would say it's more so the latter. They would likely, even at career day, they would likely not accept paper copies. They'd probably direct you to apply online. What I might recommend that you do, because I can't speak for all employers, of course, is have a cover letter and a resume made up and saved so that the day of, if you do find that some employers are in fact accepting printed versions, so soft copies of a resume and cover letter, you're ready to go and you just need to go and print it and you can come back to that particular employer with it. So have it ready to go, but don't necessarily feel the need to print it out quite yet.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Next question. Are recent graduates welcome to join the career fair, our wonderful alumni?
Yay! Of course you are. We love alumni. Please do come to Career Day. You are welcome to pretty much access any of the events that the Career Development Center hosts. So whether that's Career Day, any of the webinars, anytime an employer comes independently, like individually, and tables on campus, you are welcome. So for all of you that are about to graduate, or for those of you that have already graduated, please do continue to use our services. They're there for you to use.
Well, you almost took my next question away from me on that. Can I still use the services?
Yes, you can. Yes, yeah, we absolutely. I think, in fact, Michelle, you can clarify this for me, but as far as I know, I think we're one of the only university career centers that give unlimited access to alumni. There's no time limit on how long you can use our services after you graduate. Do we want you to use our services? No, because we want you to get out there and be successful. But even when you're 5 years into your job, you might be looking for more career coaching around career management and growth. And so you might come back and use our services for that. It's unlimited. It's fabulous.
Absolutely. Yes. As far as I know us with the career development services are unlimited. You are right. Yeah. Okay. Next question. This is a very specific question, but typically, would you shake hands with whoever is working the booth as you introduce yourself, or that's a bit too formal for a career fair style?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Sometimes you can kind of read the body language as you're approaching. So as you're introducing yourself, you can kind of see if maybe they're, about to lift their arm up. But I would probably let them take the lead on that, since they're the ones that will be shaking multiple hands. And so it really should depend on, of course, it's both your comfort levels, but since they're the ones coming into contact with more potential handshakers, maybe let them take the lead on that. But I think it's probably okay to just approach the table and introduce yourself, and without having to do a handshake. Just, nowadays, I guess there's more caution around that.
Excellent. Yeah, really great answer. And I think it was a valuable, clean, assertive presentation. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
good.
Makes sense. Any other questions out there? I don't have any others coming in at the moment.
Well, then we might have the gift of time here. I think this might be a record. I was quick, maybe.
Right. Excellent. Thank you again so much. I learned so much on this presentation, and we've got some comments too on the cute pictures. The baby picture was adorable.
You can't go wrong throwing a baby picture into a presentation.
Right. Excellent. Oh, here's a question. Any tips to be confident in your skill sets?
Do you mean to speak confidently of your skill set? Feel free to take yourself, you can always speak on the mic if you want. Is that what you mean, to speak confidently um of your skill set?
Yes.
Okay, so any tips what I would say is provide examples. That's always the strongest way to demonstrate a particular skill. First is identify what are the skills they would like to know about, because you have a ton of skills, right? We all have a ridiculous amount of skills. So they don't necessarily want to know about all of them. They want to know about the skills that are most relevant to them and the particular position. So identify what are the top skills that I should demonstrate when I'm speaking about my interest in a particular role, right? Once you've done that and you've identified the top skills, support them with examples, right, of when you use those particular skills or even how you develop those particular skills.
Excellent. Excellent. Everybody loves a good story.
Stories are
Yes.
good, right? If
Yeah.
you can get someone to start leaning in, like as soon as you
Mhm.
start talking, if they lean in, you got them. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Good, good, good. One more call if there's any other questions. If not, we can wrap this up and I can start preparing for informational meetings and my 15-second introduction.
I think
All right.
I'm seeing
Oh,
something from um
oh,
Rogerio. I
sorry.
don't know if, yeah.
I've never been to, you're right. Thank you. I've never been to a job fair before. If you have one piece of golden advice, what would it be?
Know who's going. Identify who's going, which employers. You're not going to be interested in all of them, right? And it's going to be a very busy environment. So identify, and so I put that QR code up there that'll take you straight to the employer list that's on Career Connection. So identify for yourself who you would like to talk to and plan accordingly. So really, you might, you won't have a bunch of conversations, but rather shorter, more quality-based conversations.
Excellent, excellent. We do have another question. Do you have resources on how to practice storytelling for the interviews?
I do. I do. Um, yeah, so one of them, there's a couple of things that I would recommend here. So one of them would be the interviewing toolkit. So I showed you the networking toolkit. You can find that under the resource library on Career Connection. We also have an interview toolkit. In the interview toolkit, we do talk about the STAR method. So the STAR method is a method that we use in order to tell stories during an interview. So that would be the first thing I would recommend. The second thing I would recommend is to make an appointment with either myself or Michelle for a mock interview. And then that way, that's where you can actually practice your storytelling. You can do that with us, and you can certainly do that with friends or other people that you trust to give you some good feedback.
Excellent. Thank you. Do you want to pop up that screen again? Maybe with the QR code?
I can. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, 1 second here.
I can take that and then we'll go to the next question.
Good idea.
So if you have your phone handy, take a pop of the QR code and that'll take you right into the toolkit. Excellent, thank you. And as that's while we leave that up, what is the best first question to ask in the networking first meeting with a person?
Do you mean when you're doing an information meeting?
Yuming? At the oh no, somebody. Yuming, can you maybe unmute yourself and in what context were you at an information meeting or at the event?
Hi, I mean after the networking.
At the career
So-
fair.
Yes,
Okay.
Oh,
thank you.
at the career fair? Like when you're
Yes.
speaking to one of the employers at the career fair?
yes.
Okay, and so your question is what's the first question that you should ask?
Oh, I mean, I would like to ask, what should I do if I'm not interested in the company anymore after we have a talk in the career fair? I didn't ask for
yeah.
the first questions to ask. It's from another person. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I don't know if I understand. So if you're having a conversation with an employer at career fair and you think, you know what, this isn't exactly the type of company that I'm interested in, just thank them very much for the information and for coming. And then just move on. No commitment.
Thank you. I did get.
I think that's what you asked.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Thank you very much. Sorry, I did miss up to there. So going back to the original question, what was the best first question to ask during the networking event? So in a networking event as like the career day.
Okay, yeah. So at a networking event versus career day. So at a networking event, one of the questions that I would ask is, so, why were you interested in attending this event? Find out and keep it open-ended. Always ask open-ended questions. So not the close-ended yes or no, but what brought you to this event? Why are you here? Whatever. But for career day, some of the questions that you might ask, you know, after you do that, if it's a company that you're interested in and you've done your 15-second kind of introduction, it always should finish with a call to action, which is that question you want to ask. So you've identified which particular roles you're interested in. You've kind of made the match between what it is you're studying and what you've studied or where you're working, whatever. And then the next question would be, how do I find out more about this particular role, right? You can ask and then maybe follow that up with what's the best way to apply. But as soon as you say, how can I find out more, then that opens up more of a conversation.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And then, yes, Yuming was asking what to do, and we got that mixed in, but what to do if you weren't interested in a company anymore. And you said, thank you for coming. Yeah. Okay, just popping along there. I have a comment from Anson saying that there are very few spots available on Advisor Connect. They do fill up quickly, but I'm going to suggest checking back, because there are times that when students cancel and they do open up again. So we are too for many campuses. Where is the YouTube channel? I can pop that on there. If you go to YouTube and research KPU Career Development Center, it will pop up, but I can put that up shortly.
If you should be able to tap onto this.
Oh, there you go too.
I think, right? And it'll open it up. Does that work for you, Michelle?
No.
Oh, you can't.
No.
Oh, only I can. Okay.
Yeah. So you've got the link there. Oh, Tatiani, thank you so much. She's put the link in thing there. And we have had a request. Geeta would like to say something in response to the last question. Now, there was 2 last questions. Which one?
it was the one about if you had an interaction and then if you were not, what should I do if I'm not interested in that company anymore after the networking? If you've determined that this is maybe not a company you're interested in working in, that's okay. And as Chantel said, thank them. My advice is at the end of the conversation, see if they can give you a business card. So, would I be able to get a contact card or something? And then just follow up with a thank you. Even if it's something you're not interested in, that interaction is really valuable. So if you can keep them still as part of your network by getting back to them, thanking them for the information. And then I always tell everybody, if you're trying to build your LinkedIn presence as well, ask if you can connect with them on LinkedIn. It just helps build your network. Every connection will have something positive. Even if you don't end up working for that company, you just don't know in the future where those connections can be. So that was, just wanted to add that. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Geeta. And just
Thanks, Geeta.
in case people didn't realize, Geeta is our employer relations strategist within the Career Development Center and a valued member of our office. So thank you very much for sharing and popping in and sharing that tidbit of information there. We're having another question here. Do you recommend setting up a premium LinkedIn account?
You know what? You can try out the 30 days for free. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's a necessary thing to pay for. It's quite pricey, to be honest. So I would say try the 30 days for free. Make sure you cancel it before it renews, because in order to sign up for the 30 days for free, you do need to connect a credit card to that. So if you don't cancel it, it will start charging you, and it charges you the annual rate right away. So it's quite expensive. So just make sure that, test it out and see if it is something that you want to do. I think for the most part, you can easily use LinkedIn without the premium though.
Excellent. Thank you. I think I have covered most every. Okay. I heard some students are volunteering for setting up for the career day. Will this give us a chance to meet the employers?
Yeah, but you can also, and we do encourage you to volunteer. Are we still looking for volunteers for the Richmond one?
Richmond afternoon, I believe so.
Yeah, so you can still volunteer for the Richmond location for the afternoon shift. But even, whether you're a volunteer or not, you would still have access to all of those employers, because it is an event that employers are there to meet students for. So whether you're volunteering or not, either way, and if you do volunteer, absolutely you will have time to meet with and have a chat with the employers.
Excellent, thank you. I think, with volunteering, you get that extra few minutes before and after. You're escorting them to the table. You can talk about yourself. Yeah, it's definitely great. Good. Do you have the slides for the table layout? This session is recorded. Thank you, Anson, for the question there. We will be adding this one to the to our YouTube channel. Some of these we cannot record because the employers have asked us not to record them, etc. Or if it's an exact duplicate for what's up there and the one before is better than the one that I was coughing on during this week, then and we decided not to put that one up, but we always keep the information current. Thank you. Yeah. There we go. All right, we are at 1 o'clock. And if you have any other questions, please search us out at the career event or email us at careers@kpu.ca. Thank you very much, Chantel, for all your expertise. Gita, thank you for popping in and joining at the end there. And we're so excited and grateful to be able to put this event together for the KPU students. We're grateful talking and answering any questions that you may have. And again, we're really excited. Come up and say hi to us on the day of the event, and tell us what you loved. Okay.
Yeah.
Take
Come
care.
and say hi for sure.
Take care. Have a great afternoon.
Bye, everyone.